This episode of the Cult Popture podcast was brought to you by our Patreon. If you want to tell us which films we should watch, get up to 2 extra exclusive podcasts a month, give us something to talk about in the post-credit scene at the end of each episode, or join us for our monthly movie club Zoom call where we discuss a film together, then please consider joining the cult and donating at www.patreon.com/cultpopture.
My mic always sounds so weird because I talk much quieter than you guys, but it's like the same loudness. It always sounds like I'm being real sensual. But I think actually if I talk a bit louder, maybe then I can get on your level. How about that?
Down.
If I talk at their level,
let's not make any rash decisions. Just
well, you guys always sound normal, and I always sound like, "Hello, hi there."
Maybe it'll be a sensual episode. Maybe we can work it in.
Yeah, okay. I'm down.
Maybe this is all in the episode.
It is all in the episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Cult Popture podcast. Woo! We're coming to you live from a recently snap-locked down New Zealand. I am AJ, joined by Richard and Jess. I'll let you figure out which one's which. It may not be as obvious as you think.
And it might be.
Or it might be, yeah. We wanted to do something fun this week because...
And more importantly, easy. Oh, AJ, come on. What are you doing there?
That's not the microphone I'm recording into. It's the microphone you're hearing me from. So, we're all good.
All right.
I also need to blow my nose, so hold on a second.
Oh, that was crunchy.
I'm sorry, I tried to get it behind the mic. I don't think I succeeded.
Oh my God, do you have COVID? Do you need to get tested?
You know what? I think I probably do have COVID. Nah, let's not joke about that.
Very cool.
Very current event of me.
Yeah, you have to be part of you're such a bandwagon jumper.
I know, I'm sorry.
So yeah, New Zealand after nearly 200 days is
170
days has got COVID in our community again,
and it's that pesky Delta variant.
So
yeah,
it's
that might sound sad, but if you're part of our international audience, fuck you guys. We've been rid of it. We've lived life as normal for over half a year,
for the better part of 18 months.
Yeah. So anyway, because it's lockdown and because you've got to stay inside, we're actually recording this over Zoom, which we usually do anyway. But that probably should be mentioned in different cities. Yada yada yada.
Richard and I are socially distanced right now.
Yep.
Oh,
because Jess has COVID.
we decided, why don't we play a bunch of games, bunch of fun pop cultural themed games that if you want to play, everybody, if you want to play along as well, I'm going to post the rules for each of the games that we're going to play in the show notes if you want to pass the time during your lockdown days, which you should all be doing, whether it's government mandated or not, whatever country you're in. Segue into Don't Get Me Started, which is going to be the first game we're going to play to while away the hours over lockdown here. These are the rules. Most of these games were found on various Google searches for these sorts of games, and we've kind of maybe adapted it slightly to fine tune it to the podcast. So here's how we're going to play Don't Get Me Started, guys. So we're going to take turns, and on your turn, you're going to draw a random number, which will correspond to IMDb's top 250 movies. Okay? You are then to do a rant about that movie, whether you've seen it or not. It doesn't matter. You can go off topic. You just have to do an unbroken rant for as long as you can. We're going to be timing you, and after a couple of rounds, we're going to see who has the most amount of time racked up for their rants.
Yeah, well, so we are being timed. It's not just like a fun thing.
Well, just for this one, just for Don't Get Me Started, I thought we could. Jess, do you want to keep points? That might be helpful.
Oh, sure. Yep. Hold on. Let me get set up.
Like in addition to playing, or are you just relegating her to not being a player?
In addition to play, yeah. And of Jess, of course, you're not playing. So
Jess, you're a lesser human. So can you actually... I feel like I am going to be worse at this than you guys, though. Like, straight up.
That's fine.
Am I allowed to have Google?
For what?
Any of this.
Sure.
Thank you.
But if you stop talking for 5 seconds, you've lost.
Okay.
All right, so who's going? AJ, do you want to go first to show us how it's done? Since you seem to be the
Okay,
expert
can
on
you
this game.
can you time me then?
Well, I'm going to have to fucking give you the fucking.
Hold
I
on.
can
number.
I can time myself then. I can time myself.
Okay, I do the numbers. You
Yeah.
do the timing. Jess does
Yeah.
the points.
Fantastic. What a great system we've worked out.
185.
What was that?
185. I probably could. I'll turn it up
Okay.
for the next one, eh?
185 on the IMDb Top 250 is a little movie called...
Just frantically trying to get to the next page.
I wasn't anywhere near it. Okay, it is a movie called Mad Max Fury Road.
Nice.
All right, so I'm going to start ranting about Mad Max Fury Road in 3, 2, 1. All right, I saw Mad Max Fury Road when it came out, and I thought it was really good. But one thing that pisses me off about Mad Max Fury Road is how it's just a complete departure from the previous Mad Max movies, in a sense that it's like it's not there's not a lot of tonal consistency between all the movies in the series as well, which I know you're probably thinking means that is the consistency. The consistency is that it's inconsistent, but that's also kind of cheating. We're a podcast that talks about film franchises, and you're telling me that one of the best film franchises is only that way because it refuses to be a film franchise on any real front. And also, do you know they filmed Mad Max Fury Road in like 2013 or something like that? Like they filmed it way earlier than when it was released, and I feel like that genuinely takes some of the magic out of it. You know, it's like it could be this mid 2010s kind of summing up what's happening in the world, what's going to happen in the world. It's been called quite the future fortune telling kind of movie because it's about a lot of social issues that weren't mainstream at the time. But the knowing that it was filmed in like the early 2010s instead of the mid 2010s almost makes it seem a little more random and unintentional. And I think that affects how you look at it, how you watch it. And I think that it doesn't get enough kind of credit for at the same time for being as subversive and as interesting of a film as it is, because this is such a magical movie, and it still feels like people are fighting that. It still feels like people are being like, I saw it and I didn't think it was that good. And it's like, no, we need to embrace more unanimously loved films. 185 on the IMDb Top 250. This should be top 10 on the IMDb 250. I'm not saying it is the 10th best movie ever made, but it is a uniquely IMDb style movie that should be like boosted up there. If The Dark Knight is in the top 10, I think, I haven't checked on IMDb top 50. The second, really?
No, it's the way it's
Oh my. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Like, Mad Max Fury Road should be around that mark, I think. So my rant is mainly about how I think that it should be respected more than it is, and I think it's sad that it's not. And I also think that apparently Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy didn't get along on set, which again is one of those like behind-the-scenes facts you find out that really like kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth, because you're like, what? Who did what? Who was the offending person? What went wrong? George Miller, the director of this movie, is very old, and I'm very concerned that his vision of a Mad Max follow-up is going to take too long to come out. And I worry for all of us that need more Mad Max in our lives, but also I'm worried that I think it's Furiosa is this Furiosa prequel is being planned. I'm worried that won't be good enough. I wonder if maybe Mad Max Fury Road works as being the standalone thing that is special because it came out of nowhere and it's technically part of a franchise, but it's kind of its own thing. And while all the sequels, as I said at the start of this rant, while they're all standalone, I'm worried that if you make one that's explicitly a prequel to another one, it's going to wreck that momentum of every Mad Max film basically being its own thing with its own separate continuity. I also think that
setting the bar quite high here, AJ.
That's your 5 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. I went for 3 minutes and 53 seconds.
Felt like longer. Do you want to
Alrighty.
go next?
Yeah, but I kind of want to ask you guys a question first. I don't know, like this is a pretty loose episode, right? We could just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Do you genuinely have like a good? What is a good prequel? Because I don't know, but
We did a whole podcast on it.
no, but what like is there ever a good prequel? I feel like I just personally don't give a shit about them.
It's an uphill battle.
There are a few prequels that are better than the original, but there are some that are good.
Like, give me an example.
Monsters University, I think, is a good prequel.
You're fighting an uphill battle because you immediately take away the stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know everyone's going to survive. I think Fargo season 2 does that really well. It plays with the fact that there's one character you know can't die.
Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul's great.
But that's about something like completely different.
Huh?
I don't know. Yeah, I get
It
what
still
you're
plays
saying.
a lot with characters you know aren't going to survive or are going to survive.
Yeah, because there's an inherent tragedy to Better Call Saul because you have these characters that are so close to him in Better Call Saul, and you know that they're not in Breaking Bad. So it's like, well, what's happened? Something bad is going to have to happen to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you do a prequel, kind of. Is like, I think that's what you play with, is that you start with... Yeah, and then play, but because you could like what's her name, Kim in Better Call Saul could have a happy ending, but it's yeah, we'll see.
Don't
We
have
will
any
see.
interest in watching Better Call Saul, so I feel like that. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I guess
missing
knowing
out.
the stakes takes out a lot of the enjoyment for me, just in general.
All right, you ready for your movie, Jess?
Do you want to go next?
No, it's your turn.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
I turned it up and then I kept it away from the microphone.
58.
58. I only have
58.
to go to the second page, which is nice. Jess, you have Dangle.
What?
This is perfect. I've never heard of Dangle. All right, Jess, you are to rant about Dangle for as long as you can, starting in 3, 2, 1.
All right, well, first of all, I'm Googling this because I've no idea what the fuck Dangle is and I've never heard of it. Is it, it looks like it could be like an international film. Is that the right thing? Is it
It is absolutely an
2016?
international film, yeah.
Sport action. Well, can I talk about fucking sports films because they're boring as shit? I feel like
What?
I don't like them almost as much as prequels. Maybe it's just because I don't like sports. But I even like girly ones, well, like quote unquote girly, it's supposed to be like aimed towards girls. What was it, like Bend It Like Beckham? I don't know. I thought that was boring. I think that you could just come across like better. Maybe, yeah, well, I can understand why people like them, but I just think they're boring. Maybe Ford v Ferrari is kind of like the most sport film that I watched that I liked recently, but it's because it's about like racing cars. Anyway, so Bengal, oh no, my phone froze. Hold on. Now, okay. Dangle. Okay, here we go.
It's probably Dangle.
Wikipedia. I don't know. I don't get it. It's about a wrestling competition. Oh, okay. That sounds kind of cool. Maybe I will like that. I don't know. We should watch them after the Rocky runs, Richard, because Richard's currently making me watch all of the Rocky films with him, and I am kind of enjoying them more than I thought I would. So I'm going to give them a chance. Yeah, fuck you, Richard. Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right. I like hardly get off my phone when I watch films these days, but I was pretty much off it for the entire film, which was good. I don't know. It's hard to talk for this long without anyone else putting in any input. Man, this is I feel very self-conscious, and it's making me anxious. So I'm going to stop.
All right, that was 1 minute 32.
And I didn't even say anything about the film.
That's the point of the game, though.
Yeah.
It's like to try and figure out what you can talk about from that starting point, I guess. So yeah, 132 is your score.
132.
Jess.
Okay.
One thing, though, is
That's
does
pretty good
this
for me.
need to be negative?
Not necessarily. I don't know. It's called Don't Get Me Started, which implies a negative.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
60.
All right, don't get me started on Avengers Endgame.
No
All right.
fucking way. Are you serious? Fuck you.
3, 2, 1, go.
Don't get me started on Avengers Endgame. All right, so you've got obviously 10 years of Marvel films leading up to it, and this was the culmination of that. You've got Josh Brolin as Thanos. Like, coming in from Infinity War, I remember thinking, like, there's no way this is going to be good. I like as far back as like Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember seeing the post-credit scene from the Avengers with Thanos being like to court death and thinking like there's no way I'm ever going to care about this character, because how do you make a this world-ending threat that interesting? And then he shows up in Guardians of the Galaxy and it's like he just sits on his big fucking chair and it's boring, and then shows up in the post-credit scene for Age of Ultron and you're just kind of like, all right, well, Joss Whedon clearly didn't know what to do with him, so he's just passing off the baton of the responsibility to do something with Thanos to the Russos. And then Infinity War like made him this incredible character. Like that was the biggest thing. And then coming back from that, it's like we come into Endgame and it's like, well, we now got this like great character. I in some ways kind of want to win more than the heroes, and then he's just disposed of immediately. And I know I've just said that I love the portrayal of Thanos in Infinity War, but then it was this massive bombshell at the start of Endgame that it's like, well, now where are we going to take the story? It does annoy me that the kind of time travel stuff was, it was revealed with like leaked set photos that they're in these white suits and they're at the Battle of New York from the original Avengers movie, and that what should have been this massive surprise in the movie, because it was kept out of all the marketing, just kind of became open season for spoilers, and that people would say, they're going to do time travel in Endgame, and so like you would see Reddit threads with like, and the headline would be, knowing there's going to be time travel in Endgame, yada yada yada, here's my theory, whatever. And it's like, it's not fair that it's something that was like stolen from the production, essentially, these leaked set photos, and that just becoming open season, wasn't really fair, because it's like this should be easy to avoid. Like it should be that anything out of trailers isn't fair game. You should only be able to talk about what's in trailers. And then obviously there's a big discussion around trailers, like what should be kept in trailers. And I think Endgame did a really good job of like the fact that it took place 5 years later, like that blew my mind in the cinema. I saw Endgame, Jess and I saw it together, and as soon as it finished we said, should we go again? And we went to another screen. We sat in like the front row for a late night screening. I'd been on the breakfast shift that day. I was up, I went to work like 4 o'clock so that I could go to a screening at like 1:30. Jess managed to leave work early, and then we went to another screen at like 6, and then we sat down and we were like, oh fuck, I'm pretty tired, and maybe we shouldn't have gone to the 3-hour movie twice in the same day. And then fucking Cap like picks up Mjolnir, and it's like, oh god, this was worth it. And I know that's over 2 hours into the movie. But there were moments, there was scattered with moments throughout that made me really just revel in that experience. And I don't think I'm ever going to have a kind of more complete experience in the cinema. I saw it 4 times in the cinema, breaking my record for High School Musical 3 senior year. I saw this 4 times. The 4th time was in this like tiny little cinema I've never been to in Howick, and we went because I got my sister into the MCU and got her to watch all of the MCU movies. Or I kind of gave her ones she could skip, and I told her to skip like Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. A few of the later origin stories, I feel like their best appearances are kind of in other people's movies. Like Doctor Strange is most interesting in Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War, and I guess you'd say the end of Endgame as well. And I would hope that he's going to be cool in Spider-Man No Way Home as well. Like we're gonna Spider-Man No Way Home is like, feels like it could be the only thing that could really like challenge that Endgame like overwhelming, or even just like the waiting for a trailer is it's something that like for Endgame. And I remember thinking this for Rise of not Rise of Skywalker, don't get me started on Rise of Skywalker, on the Force Awakens, that I remember going to bed and waking and being like, there's a trailer for a new Star Wars movie coming out, and it's this really unique thing that there's a trailer coming out that we know nothing about. We know the names of the people who star in the movie, but it's not like we have these like, we really have preconceived notions about who they are, because I mean we knew like Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver from their kind of various projects, but most of the cast, and I guess John Boyega had seen him in Attack the Block, which I saw in the same cinema I saw the first Avengers in with the same person actually, and yeah, like it was, this trailer was coming out for a movie and we knew nothing about it. It's like, how rare is it that these days a movie like you see a trailer and that's the first information you ever learn about the film. We knew nothing about the plot of The Force Awakens before the trailer came out. We knew nothing like that. We didn't know really no character designs or anything. And any subsequent Star Wars films and Marvel films, even though they're shrouded in the same kind of secrecy, by being the virtue of being sequels, you still have these ideas that you already know about them, the character designs, the cast, you have some inkling of where the story's going because of where the story ended on the last one. I'm sure I've beaten your time now, right? Like I can stop.
Yeah, yep, you're going for 5:46.
Jesus.
There you go. Well done. I thought you were going to pull the ultimate Richard move and talk uninterrupted for the length of the episode, and that would be the joke, is that it's like 3 minutes, a minute and a half, and then 45 minutes unbroken.
Yeah. All right, let's cut this part out. I'll keep going.
Cool. All right. Give me another number.
This is so hard. This is.
It's a lot harder when you get Dangal rather than Avengers Endgame.
No, but
I love that I got Mad Max Fury Road and you got Avengers Endgame and Jess got Dangal, a movie I've never heard of.
But also, I think you guys, because you podcast quite a lot, you're probably this is going to sound mean, but you're quite used to hearing the sound of your own voice for
I was
quite
pretty
a long time.
uncomfortable talking unbroken for three and a half minutes.
Also, that's not a podcaster thing, that's a white man thing.
Yeah, that's also true.
Jess is like, I've never talked for this long without being told shut up.
Can we do a competition for who can sit here and look prettiest for the longest?
All right.
Richard wins.
All right, AJ, here is your next number.
147.
147
Stay
is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. All right. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So when I was a kid, I haven't seen the Indiana Jones movies since I was a kid. I haven't really watched them as an adult, which is one of the reasons I'm looking forward to getting them for the podcast, because I want to revisit them. But I always thought, it always really annoyed me. One of the earliest examples of being annoyed by a titling scheme was that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is the... What's up?
I was going to say, can we... sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say, should we amp up the stakes for the second round and do the other people can interject or ask you questions or something like that?
Okay.
And it's to not only to throw you off, but so you get asked, you can ask a question during the person's rant. That doesn't count if your question takes more than 5 seconds, like this one is.
I feel like your
as not
time
speaking.
shouldn't be broken if you don't talk for 5 seconds. Your time should be broken if you say
That would be
That'd be hard. Maybe that can be round 4 or 5. I feel like I've been stitched up with this one. Should I do a different movie?
I think so. But yeah, do we think? What do we think of just should be able to ask questions?
Yeah, you can ask me questions.
Also makes it more interesting if it's more of a conversation.
Yeah. I was just going to say, for anyone wanting to know, that The Last Crusade is the only Indiana Jones movie that's not something of the something. If anyone was like, what was he going to say?
I really want to rewatch all of those films because I kind of only really watched a couple of them, but with my dad and when I was really young. But I feel like they're kind of like National Treasury, where it's lots of puzzles and stuff, but also lots of fighting. Or is it also
National
a lot of
Treasure's probably more a family film, though.
Indiana Jones is kind of a bit sexist,
Well, it's got Sean Connery in it, so that's automatically.
Ow! Does he slap a lot of women with the back of his hand?
No, but in the first one, Indiana Jones's love interest, you find out when they met, and it means she would have been 14 when they first met, I think.
Oh, wow.
And he would have been in his 30s or something
like
that.
Cool.
All right.
So it's that sort of thing.
11.
All right.
11.
11? Oh my God, I'm miles away from 11. Are you closer to 11 than I am?
Yeah, wait. 11 is Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh God, Jess, you got ding out. And I got Fellowship of the Ring.
It's all right. This would have been too painful to talk about.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, I think, is a movie that a lot of people say now, I've heard a lot of people say now that they actually think it's the best of the Lord of the Rings movies, and I always thought that was a really interesting perspective because
What's your
from
favorite
someone
one?
my favorite one is Return of the King. I think that's the catharsis you feel from landing on that after 3 movies of like excellent build up and character development and character arcs. I think that is where the true the true beauty lies, the true payoff lies is watching the culminative effect of these 3 films. It's similar to what you were saying about Endgame, that it feels like that release is what makes Lord of the Rings Return of the King so good. So I do take umbrance when people say that Fellowship of the Ring is the best one, because it feels by its very nature. I don't think it is the best one. I think by its very nature it's built to support the preceding films that come out after it. And
it's
I
like
think
the setup film.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the setup film, and I think that while it's excellent in a lot of ways, it's certainly like the most homely and wholesome of the 3 of the trilogy. I think that's very intentional.
Why it's my favorite.
But that's to give you a place to start where you can move on from and go into, accept the call to adventure and move on to darker, scarier, more intense, and more thematically rich moments. I think when people are talking about the best scenes from Lord of the Rings, they talk about the ones from Return of the King. When they're talking about memes, that's when they're talking about Fellowship of the Ring. So Fellowship of the Ring is more of this. I think One Does Not Simply Walk Into Mordor had a lot of mileage. That was a fun one. I think Okay Then Keep Your Secrets is a lot of fun. Do you remember when Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring came out? Everyone was like, hey, did you know that when Samwise Gamgee says, if I take one more step, I'll be as further away from the Shire as I've ever been? Everyone was like, did you know you can see a silver car in the background of that shot? And every time I've watched Fellowship of the Ring, I've looked for the silver car, unable to see it. And I think that...
Yeah, we talked about this on the podcast. Can you go back to what you were saying?
That the thing with the what was this? Fuck you. What the fuck is that? I don't even. You can't tell me to go back to what I was saying.
You didn't have to.
That was 2 minutes 28.
You didn't have to. You could have said, "No, Richard, I'm going to finish my thought."
Yeah, I should have said that. You're right.
I'm sorry.
All right, Jess's turn.
All right.
195.
All right, I can tell you what that is. That is $1 Million Baby. So, Jess, you have to rant about $1 Million Baby in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this is another movie that I have not watched, but probably should have seen this one. I'm definitely familiar with the name. It looks like it's also another fucking sports drama. So another sports film, which I probably won't care about, although it looks like it's about boxing. It's about female boxing. Maybe I will like this one. Anyway, I'm just going to do a quick Google now. I'm jumping on Wikipedia now. Should I just read the entire plot synopsis from Wikipedia? How about I do that? Is it allowed? I don't know. I think
it has to be off the top of the head.
Fuck, okay. Anyway, maybe I'll give this one a watch after Richard. But
what's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport's probably field hockey, but it's only because I used to play that when I was a young kid. It was like in New Zealand, field hockey is kind of like, field hockey and netball are like the 2 female sports that you play when you're a young girl, and then like if you're a boy, then you kind of just play football or rugby, and it's kind of like you pick out of the 2 of either of those. But I was real into sports at high school though, so I don't know why I'm so like against them now, why I find them so boring.
Do you like the Mighty Ducks?
The Mighty Ducks, I've never seen the Mighty Ducks, but I've listened to your guys' podcast about it. I think, is there an animated series about it as well?
Yeah,
and are they ducks in that series? Okay, I feel like I'd enjoy that more. Is it they should like tie that into like the Disney ducks, or are they Disney? No, like Scrooge McDuck and stuff.
Yeah.
Are they Disney?
Yep.
That could be cute, I think. But in terms of sports, I feel like fuck, I don't know what to say. This is fucking hard. Oh god, I actually can't listen to myself but talk uninterrupted this long. It's like painful. I'm gonna give it a little bit longer because I just want to beat my last time, but I feel like I'm not going to beat my last time. Let's just talk about sports that we used to play.
What sport do you think makes the best movies?
That's a really interesting question. I think team sports probably, because then you get like the team dynamic of like, I mean, some of them are quite cliche. I think that's why I don't like sports movies. It's because they're all cliche and they always end up the same. And I
What's
think
your least favorite sports movie cliche?
I don't like the like overcoming barriers or overcoming a difficult situation, which is like what every single one is about. I don't know. I guess this is why I like sci-fi films, because the range is so much larger of like issues and problems. It's more like existential.
Would you say that sport in real life is not about overcoming a challenge?
I don't think sports in real life make you have existential crises. I think they make you think, oh, I can't kick a ball that good. That sucks. Well, I'm probably offending a lot of people right now. This is what this ranting thing does. It just makes you talk about shit without thinking about it too much.
What's the most offensive thing you could say right now?
I don't know. I'm worried that someone will take it out of context, but people will probably boil this down to, oh, Jess is just classic girl, doesn't like sports. Sports are for boys.
I don't like sport either. End of rant?
I can't do it anymore. I can't do it.
You went for 3 minutes 16.
Oh my god, that's
Although
double what I did last time.
Neither of you started with "Don't get me started," so you guys don't get points.
Damn, should have remembered that. Okay, Richard, draw a random number.
70.
All right, I'm probably further away from 70 than you.
70 is Memento.
Alrighty. You have to rant about Memento in 3,
Oh, fuck
2,
yeah. Can you tell me
1.
about the movie?
Don't get me started on Memento. Memento is one of my favorite movies. I could be here talking for hours about it, and maybe I will. Maybe that'll be part of the joke. I wasn't going to do it in the first round, but I'll do it in this round.
By that, I mean, can you please explain the plot?
So the plot of the movie is actually deceptively simple. A lot of people say that, and this is actually a great point. Thanks for bringing it up. So people
No worries.
often argue that like the plot of Memento is like, yeah, if you watched it forward, it's boring, and it's like, yeah, if you watched Harry Potter and he wasn't a wizard, it's boring. Like these things are baked into the story. It's like that's the movie you're presented with. That's the story you're presented with. It's interesting because it's presented. Like I don't think that it should be judged on how well it flips. It's the same thing. Like obviously it's a slightly different argument to the Harry Potter thing, but it's like, yeah, that's the story. Like,
so what is the simple story that you keep telling us about?
Well, I'm getting to that. So the story is that the main character.
Watch it tonight?
We could do actually. I've got it on Blu-ray, which is actually one of the hardest Blu-rays I've ever had to track down, and it's
Okay,
quite.
well,
a prized
maybe I don't
possession
want
of
you to
mine.
spoil it for me then, even though I kind of already know what happens.
Well, the general kind of plot I will say is that you have the main character played by Guy Pearce, who is looking for John G, who raped and murdered his wife. That's like he's covered in these tattoos. He has short-term memory loss, which is probably the most important thing about the movie. And so his memory is divided into like 5-minute-ish segments, and we see the last one first, and it works backwards. So we each time we're thrown into a scene, we have the same kind of knowledge about the scene that he does. But yeah, he's covered in these tattoos. His name is Leonard. And yeah, he's looking to avenge the death of his wife. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil the ending, but I would just say that this is directed by Christopher Nolan. It was one of his first movies. It wasn't his first movie. Following was his first movie. But and I'm kind of sad that it does. You have that kind of Christopher Nolan like playing with time, which is like one of his favorite toys in his toy box is time. Obviously, Tenet was kind of what I guess he would think is his magnum opus, but it might be his worst film. So like even far back as Memento, but he's playing with time in like a story sense. Like he does it in Dunkirk as well, with the 3 hours, 3 days. 30 minutes or whatever, the timeline of the three characters. But yeah, in Memento, I think it's done best, and I wish he would be willing to tell a story this small again, because I think he does it really well. I mean, after this, he would go on to make Insomnia, which is a movie that everyone's like, oh, it's his worst film. It shouldn't count as a Christopher Nolan film because I'm such a fanboy. I just realized that like Nolan directed this film, and now I've got like this whole other thing I can talk about. But Insomnia is actually a really good movie. I would say it's like, yeah, it might be one of his weaker films, but it's like, I guess that just sort of says how strong of a director he is. It's better than Interstellar, I'll give it that. It's his best I film in terms of film that starts with the letter I.
You think it's better than Inception?
I forgot about Inception. That's very funny. So ranking Christopher Nolan's I film, the I trilogy, I 3, it would be, Inception, Insomnia, Interstellar, because I've talked about Interstellar at length on this podcast before and in my personal life. So if you know me personally, you've probably heard my thoughts about Interstellar, because there was a period of time where I wouldn't shut up about it. And then I watched it again. We were in Melbourne, and they were playing on IMAX, like proper IMAX, like the actual like IMAX film, which we don't have in New Zealand, and they were playing at one of those cinemas, and I said, all right, well, I didn't like it when I saw it in 2014 when it came out, and it would be cool to watch it again in kind of the best possible scenario, because a lot of people would tell me you need to revisit it, and part of me was like, yeah, maybe I should revisit it, because I think it was partially expectations that let it down for me. And so I was like, well, okay, if I rewatch it, I should rewatch it in the best possible circumstances, the way it was meant to be seen, which is a huge thing with Christopher Nolan films they always talk about. So we watched it on IMAX, and it was, it played better the second time, because I think I knew the dumb stuff I didn't like about it. I knew it was coming now, and going into it, I was like, oh, it's got this and this and this. And then I think I forgot maybe how much stuff I liked in the first 2 hours of this fucking 3-hour film, because it is too long. And I'm sorry, Christopher Nolan, like, yeah, your spectacle's cool, but Dunkirk is probably your best film because it's like an hour and 40 minutes long. But I mean, having said that, Memento and The Prestige, oh my God, don't get me started on The Prestige. The Prestige is like a fantastic movie. There's one night I watched The Prestige before bed, and then I went to sleep and I dreamt the entire movie, and it was incredible. I just watched the movie twice in a row, but one time was my subconscious playing me the film. The Prestige.
Was there any differences between the real version and the dream version?
I'd say the dream version was slightly compacted. There's probably key scenes taken out, but in a dream, the dreams being a subject that Christopher Nolan explored in his film Inception, that like there's the scene in Inception where he talks about how you don't realize you're in a dream when you're dreaming it, and there's the point where like, how did we get to this cafe? And they're like, and Elliot Page is like, yeah, fuck, I actually don't remember. And yeah, like, it's such an interesting thing, and I think it's like, it's almost a thing about dreams that like I wouldn't have realized if it wasn't pointed out to me that, yeah, you don't realize, you don't know when dreams start. Like, you can think about and even like trying to piece together, if you remember your dreams, some people just don't remember their dreams at all. I have like some recall, and especially when you wake up, if I tell someone my dream immediately when I wake up, it's like cemented it in my mind. But most of the time I don't, obviously. Cemento, yeah, it's a movie about a construction worker who has to constantly refill his bag of cement because it keeps emptying every 5 minutes, much like Leonard's mind in Memento 2000, directed by Christopher Nolan. I was at a burger place in, it's called like Bacon Brothers in Christchurch, on that high street complex or whatever it is. And the guy there was like, he's like, I'll give you $1 off your burger, because it's like the burger comes with a handshake. It's one of these kind of places that's like, it's a cool hipster bar for guys that like burgers. And the guy was like, I'll give you $1 off your burger, mate, if you can tell me what film released after 2000 you would most want to rewatch watch for the first time again. And I thought about it, and I could not think, because my mind immediately just went to films from 2000, the year 2000, and the only ones I could think of were Mission Impossible 2 and Memento, and I was like, well, actually, Memento is probably a real good answer. So I said Memento, and he was like, great answer, and he gave me $1 off my burger. And I tell you what, it was a fucking incredible burger. It took so long to come out, though, like literally like 20 minutes I was waiting for this burger. It was like, it's one of these like kind of food court things where everyone goes and orders from a different place, and then yeah, they had that, like, they got like a pizzas or like a, you know, whatever fucking bullshit they got, and it came out so quickly. And then my burger was like, I said 20 minutes. That is it probably it was actually like closer to an hour, I think. Like they'd eaten, we'd all had a couple of drinks, and it was like, oh, are we ready to go? Oh no, wait, Richard's food hasn't even fucking come out yet, which is like this reoccurring thing for me. And it's like, and you guys would at length heard stories like this of just like I have like the worst. If someone else is in charge of like my food or my money, they're gonna fuck it up somehow. So like I always get like wrong shit given to me at restaurants. They just forget to bring my order. The worst thing is, so you go to a restaurant and everyone gets their food brought out, and then it's like, oh, is everything all good here? And you go, yeah, I'm just waiting on my food. Like it's been 10 minutes since you brought everyone else's out, and I don't have food in front of me. You took an order from everyone. How do you think it's going? And then they go, oh, sorry. And then they just grab your food, and it's like, where was it? You like, I would rather you forgot to make it. Like this means that for 10 minutes, my food was just sitting somewhere in the ether, and you just pulled it out and brought it out to me. It's like, yeah, no, I would rather you go back to the kitchen and go, oh, sorry, we forgot to make your meal. Here's a fresh one, and we'll give you some fries, or we'll give you like a nice gravy to put on the side, which we usually charge extra for some bizarre reason when it's free as part of other meals. But no, if you want gravy with your meal, no, you have to pay an extra $1. That's so stupid, and it's capitalism. That's capitalism. And so anyway, coming back to Memento, you guys aren't really taking much advantage of the asking questions thing.
That is the worst side of your personality. The whole like restaurant thing. I hate how you get so angry.
I don't get where Jess accuses me of being rude to wait stuff. I'm not rude. If someone comes over and goes, how's everything? I will say, I'm just waiting on my food. Like, I don't want to tell you it's going bad. I'm protecting your feelings by not saying I'm having a bad experience at your restaurant, which I am because you haven't brought me any food. There was a time, so we went out with, there's this group of 6 people that we go out with for dinner quite frequently. Shout out to these guys. Their names are Elon, Bailey, Nick, and Savannah, and Jess, and Richard. And so we went out and...
Wait, a separate Richard, or are you the Richard?
I'm the Richard. I'm the titular Richard.
These are my friends from work.
Richard.
So we went out and it was like we all got the same meal apart from one person, and they somehow, fucked up, and then the meal took ages to come out, but it was like you took an order from everyone and then you looked at your pad and were like, yep, that's right, and and didn't write down.
She read it back to us. And
she did read it back to us, and none of us noticed.
And we didn't correct her.
Yeah. And it was fucking annoying. And then it was like, well, do you want a meal? And it's like, well, I mean, I ordered one, so yeah, I do want a meal. But yeah, so because she read it back to us, and it was essentially just like, because 2 of the people in the group changed their chicken parmas. They don't like the tomato sauce on it; they like gravy. And yeah, so there was this whole thing, and it was like,
cost extra.
No, see, it doesn't in the chicken parma, but if you just want like a side of gravy, or you want chips with gravy or something on it, it's like an extra fucking $3 to get it.
What place is this?
It's called Malt. It's in Greyland.
Doesn't actually do parmas
They actually
anymore.
don't do parmas anymore, which is why we've stopped going there, because this whole group loves chicken parmas. I'm not really like a massive chicken parma person.
Because they're Australian.
Yeah, it is a really Australian thing, isn't it? I guess if I made my own chicken parma, I'd probably like it more. But it's, I don't know, it's one of those things that like people are like, instead of like a nice marinara sauce under the cheese, they're just like, oh, here's a whole tomato, and it's like, well, okay, well now I've got to fucking deal with this thing.
Do you remember when we went to the art gallery there one time, and instead of saying Mariana, he said marinara?
Yeah, that was, and I corrected him, and he was like, no. So it was like, because Jess and I went to the art gallery that she mentioned, and it was like, I think it was in the middle school holiday, so they had this thing where it was like you could, it was like an activity for kids, and they were like, today we're drawing what you think is at the bottom of the deepest part of the ocean, and it's called the Marinara Trench. And I was like, I don't think it's called that. And he was like, no, it is. And I was like, okay, it's just filled with meatballs.
That's where they get them from. That's where they mine the natural resource that is marinara.
Yeah, and it's like helium. It's one of those things where it's like, if you actually knew how little we had of marinara sauce as a natural resource, like a foot long from Subway would cost 3 times as much. But they say helium, is run running out. But they also say it's like one of the most plentiful gases in the entire known universe. So like, which is it? But I guess it's the thing that we can't make more helium, but we can make more of other elements. What's that about? And then bees.
Okay,
like,
but Richard,
yep.
I just don't think Memento is Christopher Nolan's finest work.
Well, and that's the thing about Christopher Nolan is that like it's similar to Tarantino in a way that people like different styles of it. And like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I think I saw, no, it's Once Upon a Time in America is two below this on the IMDb top 250. But you have like it's the Kill Bill 1 and 2 is like the perfect example of this, is like which Kill Bill do you prefer? Because if you prefer like just like, yeah, I love Tarantino movies because they're stabby and they slice and the blood, you'll probably prefer Kill Bill 1. But whereas if you kind of prefer Tarantino's dialogue and whatnot, you will prefer Kill Bill 2. And you have a similar thing with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that depending on which one you prefer, you either think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a great movie ruined by its ending, or you think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a fucking boring movie that the ending was the only good thing about it. And I'm of the first category. I traditionally preferred Kill Bill Volume 2, but I think when we watched it for the podcast, I was like, Kill Bill Volume 1's probably a better film. Even the stuff, the kind of more dialogue driven Tarantino that I prefer, I think it's stronger in Kill Bill 1, even though it's also got all the other, like, you know, the Crazy 88 or whatever it's called. But yeah, I think there's a similar thing with Christopher Nolan, that some people are like, yeah, I just love the spectacle, and that's why I like to distill it, because I don't like to think very intellectually, or I like to think I'm intellectual when I watch a Christopher Nolan movie, which is why I like things like Inception. And I go, wow, I understood it. I must be the smartest person alive. Wow, Interstellar didn't make sense to me, but I'm going to pretend it did, so that people will think I'm smart, even though the movie's just really dumb. But I think that like those kind of early Christopher Nolan movies, Memento, The Prestige, Insomnia, is like, yeah, this is actually a dude with like a really, really good, strong grasp on storytelling. And this was kind of before he had the big budget to do things like The Dark Knight, which, as we mentioned before, is number 3 on the IMDb top 250. Number 1 is The Shawshank Redemption. Number 2 is The Godfather. Number 4 is The Godfather Part 2. So I guess that would make The Godfather the best trilogy of all time, because 2 of its entries are in the top 5 of the IMDb 250. But as you know from doing a franchise podcast for the last 5 years, it's actually not. It's quite high up there, but it's not as good as Matt Reeves's, well, I call it Matt Reeves's, Planet of the Apes trilogy, even though he only directed the second 2. But and I was going to say, let's face it, they're the better 2. I don't necessarily think that. That's just such a solid trilogy of films that it's hard to pick one that's really and then that's why we invented the Gold Star franchise thing. But also at the top of our franchise ranking list is, of course, Toy Story, which was put there before Toy Story 4 came out. And we haven't really had the discussion. We're going to do a re-ranking at some point. We haven't really had the discussion about whether that's going to be changed due to 4. I know you're kind of like 4 is a perfect movie, it doesn't bring down the franchise at all. I think 4 was incredible, but I'm still on the fence, I think, about what it does to the franchise, whether it elevates it or lowers it down.
Hey,
yeah.
Let's stop there, because you have ranked up 15 minutes and 30 seconds, which I think is more than any of the other scores currently written down.
Together, combined.
Is that okay? We'll stop there. I think maybe we should play another game. Very good.
People are going to hate this episode.
No, they're not. That was fun. Okay, let's play another game. This game is called Think About It. And how you play this game is... So you guys are going to give me a random number which will correspond to the top 250, and I have to construct a conspiracy theory about it based off just knowing what movie we're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a number.
246.
Oh, you'll be closer, won't you?
Yeah, 246 is... Gone with the Wind.
All right.
So, Gone with the Wind.
Sorry. Also, just is there like an end game to this game?
No, I guess I just
don't get me started on end game.
Fit you a theory.
Yeah, so it's more just like a creative thinking exercise. It can be as big or as small as you want. That's the thing.
Yeah. I believe Gone with the Wind invented the word damn. And that the reason it got away with being having this what's now remembered as like the first like big swear in a mainstream movie. I believe it actually invented the word damn, which was not a swear word at the start of when the movie was made, and therefore the reason they got away with it is because it wasn't a swear word when they said it. They made it a swear word through
Context.
very good marketing.
Right.
That's my conspiracy theory. What do you think?
I love it. That's canon. All right, Jess, your turn.
All right.
Such a shorter game than the last one.
168.
All right, I'm on
Okay.
the page for 168, and let me just scroll down. Jess, yours is 1942's To Be or Not to Be.
Okay.
I can give you I'll give you the one-line plot synopsis.
Okay, that'd be great.
During the Nazi occupation of Poland, an acting troupe becomes embroiled in a Polish soldier's
Okay.
efforts to track down a German spy.
My conspiracy around this is that this was actually found footage film, and that it's real, and that they just like happened to be filming this guy hunting down this German Nazi soldier, and the reason that fuck.
Think about it. Think about it.
think about it. Fuck.
No, this is very accurate to most conspiracy theories. This is fine.
Yeah, they just fall apart under like no scrutiny.
Therefore, and that's why I think the moon's a hologram. Facts.
All facts,
Facts.
no cap. So,
Alrighty.
no cap is that's literally just like they took the R out of crap. Is that right?
I actually don't know.
I'm too afraid to ask.
I don't want people to know my age.
These terms appear to be rooted in the sense of cap as top or upper limit. So no cap has the sense of no lie, no joke, for real, or not bragging. The expression is closely associated with slang in Atlanta area hip hop. Interesting.
All right, Richard, give yourself a number.
All right.
236.
That'll be you.
Alrighty, 236. Richard, what is your conspiracy theory? Make me think about it. The pages stopped loading. About the 400 Blows, 1959.
Okay, so what year was that? Sorry, 1959.
959.
So Francois Truffaut's The 400 Blows, which I only know who directed that because it's referenced in a Childish Gambino song. And I think that Childish Gambino and Donald Glover are the same person.
Very good. Shitty fan theories. Like the shittiest fan theory I saw was someone posted on the Shitty Fan Theories subreddit with a theory that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and then like all this evidence as to why, and then the top comment was arguing that Bruce Wayne wasn't Batman, and people were like, this is a shitty fan theory.
You've 100% told that story on the podcast, I think, with us
really?
three. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, give me a number.
No.
250.
Ooh.
It's the last one. All right, The General, 1926. When Union spies steal an engineer's beloved locomotive, he pursues it single-handedly straight through enemy lines. Okay, it's a Buster Keaton film. Okay. My conspiracy is that Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin are the same guy, and they are both an immortal being who has been alive since the dawn of time and has embodied the sort of like comedic trailblazers throughout history. So Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin are also like, I don't know, Jack Black, Dave Chappelle, Jim Carrey. Like
Right.
they're all the same person, the same immortal spirit, the same immortal entity is all the same guy, because comedy is not subjective. It is objective, but only this entity understands what it is. That's my conspiracy theory. Think about it.
All right, next, Jess, you on?
All right.
158.
Jess, you've
All right.
got Yojimbo, directed by Akira Kurosawa. This is the film that
Jesus.
A Fistful of Dollars is based on.
Jimbo.
A
Which could be a conspiracy theory.
Yojimbo. A crafty Ronin comes to town divided by two criminal gangs and decides to play them against each other to free the town.
What year is it?
61.
Fuck, man. This is so hard. I have like nothing to compare this film to. Hold on.
Maybe it doesn't
cast.
exist. Maybe that's your conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard, what was your conspiracy about the two directors that don't exist or something?
You think this film is Steven Soderbergh?
I think this film is Steven Soderbergh.
Okay.
How has he been
Think
passing
about
as
it.
a film?
So he's actually a shapeshifter who can take the form
can-
of any mixed media.
So
So
stupid.
yep, that's my conspiracy for
Alrighty.
Yojimbo.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it. It feels like it needs like snaps at the end of it. All right, and
71.
71 is Princess Mononoke.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Okay, think about it. Princess Mononoke, I think, is actually just a like a tax fraud scheme.
Okay.
So this was one of Hayao Miyazaki's films that he announced he was retiring because he'd done his best. I think that that this was like a money laundering scheme, making Princess Mononoke, and I think it didn't work out. I don't think he was able to sink all of his funds. I think the film ended up being bigger, and then so he had to come out of retirement to make more embezzlement schemes.
I love it. Love it. And it's crazy that it's so seems like so artistically true while also
Well, that's just the
fucking cash
Miyazaki
grabs.
style.
Think about it. Alrighty, let's move on to our third game for this wonderful lockdown fun time. This is a game we've slightly adapted, and I've called it Kevin Bacon Infinity. And here's how to play. So one of us is going to start. We're going to name a Kevin Bacon film, and then another actor who is also in that film. Then we'll go around the circle, and you go with the last name said, and a movie that person's in, and then a co-star, and so you're essentially giving everyone a new actor to connect a movie to, right? And the point of the game is to name as many as a team, and you can't repeat movies. Can you repeat actors, or
No.
can you? No, so no repeating actors, no repeating movies.
Yeah.
So I can start if we like. Okay, so Kevin Bacon is in Crazy Stupid Love with Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore is in Children of Men with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine is in Austin Powers 3 with what's his name? Mike Myers.
Mike Myers is in Shrek with Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy is in. I was going to say Dreamgirls with Beyonce, but that's just golden. Eddie Murphy is in. What else is Eddie Murphy in?
Damn, we only got 3 movies before this stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy is in. I could name Eddie Murphy movies. I'm trying to think of his co-stars. Eddie Murphy is in Dolomite Is My Name with Cody Smith McPhee.
Cody. How do you smell it? Smith?
Smith McPhee.
I didn't even know who
he's
that
young
is.
Nightcrawler in the X-Men movies.
Well, there you go.
Okay. He
With
is
Kevin
in Yeah, X-Men Apocalypse with James McAvoy.
Okay. Is that me? Is that back to me? James McAvoy is in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton's in The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio is in Titanic with Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet is in Extras with Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais is in... Oh, I can't just do extras again, can I? The Office with Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman is in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy with Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry is in V for Vendetta with Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie Portman is in Thor with Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth is in The Avengers with Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson is in Jojo Rabbit with Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi is in Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is in Deadpool with he's in Free Guy with that chick from Killing Eve. What's her name? I don't know.
I think that maybe is the end of the chain. If we get to that stage.
Jodie Comer?
Yeah, Jodie Comer.
Should the game be like you're trying to get back to Kevin Bacon?
I don't know any other films that Kevin Bacon has been in apart from Crazy Stupid Love.
It's Super is the other one, I know.
X-Men First Class.
Oh, yes, we did talk about this.
What do you mean you don't... Kevin Bacon is picked as the actor for this game because he's in everything.
I was wondering why. I literally do not know. I barely knew who he was.
Being a Kevin Bacon game is, I think, like a dated idea.
Mm.
I think it's like, there's a joke in How I Met Your Mother where Robin makes a joke about, you get Jude Law because he's in everything. And everyone's like, what? And she's like, Jude Law, he had like this mess, he was in everything. And they're like, yeah, like 3 years ago, what are you talking about? And I think it's similar to that. It'd be interesting to try and work out who the modern day Kevin Bacon is.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock's not a bad one actually, because I guess anyone, like, because you think of like, okay, who has a lot of co-stars? It's just anyone in the MCU.
Yeah.
Which Kevin Bacon is not in. So,
Okay,
well, let's go on to the next game. This is a classic drama class game, high school drama class game called Category Die.
Jess,
and
if you're going to pretend to scream, you have to actually scream so that the audience can hear you.
I was not a drama theatre kid in school.
You were a field hockey girl.
I did theatre in there. I was like in the lighting booth.
No, Jess was your classic, like your stereotypical field hockey flautist in high school.
Flautist. Thank you very much.
See, look, she even knows the right pronunciation.
The way to play Category Die is we pick a category. It'll probably be movie themed, and then we each go round saying something within that category. You cannot repeat anything anyone else has said, and if you can't think of anything after a few seconds, we all go die! And you're out.
And then you have to leave the class.
You have to sit down. All right, so what should our category be?
Actors who have appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Were you guys scarred by drama class?
I always would fuck up. Anytime it was like countries, I would always fuck it up. I would say Africa or America. And they'd be like, that's not an idiot. Because I would panic and I would, Anyway.
Sleeping Lions was always my favourite because you just kind of lie there and do nothing. You just get to nap for a class. It was sick. Well, imagine if there was a sleeping class. I would.
There's one in kindergarten.
Smash that. I would smash that. I'd practice in other classes. I'd be great.
The best Jess ever did in school.
Movies about sleep. Is that our category?
No, I think actors in the MCUs are pretty...
All right, a good one to start with because it's a lot of options.
Yeah.
All right, you want to start, Richard?
All right. Stanley Tucci.
Scarlett Johansson.
Robert Downey Jr.
Taika Waititi.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Evans.
Tom Holland.
Mark Ruffalo.
Karen Gillan.
Edward Norton.
Tom Hiddleston.
Kate Blanchett.
Liv
Ooh.
Tyler.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Die!
All right, I'm out. No, that's fair.
For the record, my
It's down
next
to
one
you.
was Ty Burrell. I was just going through. The
All right, I
Incredible
will
Hulk.
pick the next category then
Okay.
for you two, and then it goes to whoever's out. Okay, I'm gonna go with just make it real easy for Jess. Like celebrities that Jess thinks are hot.
Me.
No, let's go. Okay, actors who have been in Doctor Who.
All
All right.
right.
I think it's Richard's turn.
Simon Pegg.
Karen Gillan.
Nick Frost.
Oh my god.
Die!
Without
Name
none of
any
you
of the
named any of the
doctors.
doctors.
You know when you just like panic? I just panicked.
I love how smugly you said Karen Gillan as well. All right, well that one was quite
That was a lot of pressure.
I'd be happy to do another round of that one if you guys are.
Yeah, let's do it. Yep.
Jess, do you want to pick the first round?
No. Don't make me pick anything. My brain is not working right now, so can I
All
just,
right.
I just want to sit in the corner.
The category is movies.
What about? Okay, yeah.
Okay. Jess, do you want to start?
Are we naming movies? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Home Alone 3.
Home Alone.
Home Alone 2.
Lost in New
Um,
York.
Richie Rich.
Casper.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Shaun of the Dead.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Shaun the Sheep, the movie, Farmageddon.
Playmobil, the movie.
Barbie and the Diamond Castle.
The Bratz movie.
The Boss Baby Back in Business.
Basket Case.
The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
1 second.
No,
Sorry, no.
1 second.
Die.
No, my
Die!
I already
It's just
died
me
because
and
the
Jess-
Boss Baby Back in Business is a TV show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Family Business.
Yeah,
is
Family
the one.
Business.
Family
Second one.
business.
All right, Jess, it's just you and me now. You go first.
All right, Barbie Rapunzel.
Wait, are we not getting a new category?
Oh,
Oh, true. Yeah, new category.
One of you guys come up with the category. Or do
Oh,
I?
no.
No,
do I?
you're the one who's out. You come up with the category.
Okay, the category is years.
What?
Okay.
Years.
Okay. 1960.
1993.
1994.
1995.
1921.
1996.
800 BC.
1997.
1 AD.
69 BC.
69 AD.
1972.
2011.
1969.
2001.
2002.
2021.
Ooh.
2500.
That doesn't exist yet.
Oh, AD's out.
No! Right. Oh, how annoying! Just had to end that round.
All right.
Wow, riveting content.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want do one more category, Die?
Okay. Well, if you want to, AJ. If you
Why
want
not?
to, if you want a chance to win one.
Yeah, I need to win a category, Die.
All right.
All right. Jess, can you come up with a category?
Movies underwater. Underwater movies.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Finding Nemo.
Deep Blue Sea.
Finding Dory.
Barbie and a Mermaid Tale.
Shark Tale.
Barbie Mermaidia.
Fuck you. Jaws.
Oh, underwater.
47 meters down.
The Meg.
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
What?
It's a movie.
Fuck, I know.
Die!
I'm so glad it ended before I had to resort to Piranha 3 Double D.
All right, AJ, me and you.
Okay, Jess,
Jesse,
another topic.
Oh man, I came up with the last one.
Just do one AJ can win so that we can
All right.
we can move on. We play until I win.
Films that. Does it have to be? Oh no, it doesn't have to be films or anything.
It's probably supposed to be, but
Um,
then Richard said years and it kind of threw us out.
Well, when do movies come out?
List AJ's current flatmates.
Okay.
Who's starting?
AJ, you go first.
Okay, correct. AJ, do I count?
No.
I'm gonna bleep all of those. It's not good. Alrighty, let's move on to our final game. So, this game is called, I don't know what it's called. I called it Last Letter Celebrities. This was a game we saw played on New Zealand Taskmaster a couple of weeks back. And watching it, friends of the show, Dave Correos and Guy Montgomery, are actually contestants on this season of Taskmaster NZ. And they played this game at the end of one episode, and none of them were very good at it. And I was sitting there thinking, like, God, I'm absolutely not famous enough to ever get on Taskmaster. But, like, I would
And they
fucking
wouldn't repeat the
rocked this
round
game.
as well.
Yeah, but I would have fucking rocked this game. So we've got to take turns naming celebrities, but the name that your celebrity, the letter that your celebrity's name begins with has to be the last letter of the previous celebrity said. So if I say Kevin Bacon, Richard has to name a celebrity starting with N, because N is the last letter of Bacon.
And I really like the rule they introduced that you can do fictional characters, but they have to be a celebrity within their universe.
Yeah.
They're not.
So
They're
let's
not.
play that.
Yeah, they're not a celebrity just by virtue of being in a famous IP kind of thing.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon.
Nick Park.
Karen Gillan.
Nick Cassavetes.
Sarah Silverman. Ends for a hot.
It is.
Yeah.
We keep landing on
Natalie
ends.
Portman.
Nice.
Oh my God,
anything.
another
I
N. Nick Frost.
Tom Hanks.
Sophie. Yeah. Vergara.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Dan Stevens.
Samantha.
Yes. Samantha who?
This is hard. I don't know anyone famous, man. I'm so far removed from knowing
Don't you
famous
work
people.
in television?
Not with famous people.
We get Jess to just reveal the cast of the Lord of the Rings TV series. Just 'cause the only people she can think of.
Has the cast not been revealed?
Oh, no, it has been.
Some of them have, yeah.
Okay. All right, shall
Sam
we...
Smith.
Oh, okay. Harry Styles.
Fuck.
See? It's fucking hard.
I feel like I'm good at this. You guys are just too slow for me, baby.
Suck.
I'm like, yeah, I'll name any. Because I can like draw from like I didn't know who Nick Cassavetes is. I just know it's a name. So
Yeah.
I
Samantha Morton.
another N.
Nathan Fillion.
Nice.
Another N. Nigel Thornberry is absolutely famous in the world.
Viz Saint Laurent.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Does that end?
Just say Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
Oh no! Now we're on N. I could have been on R. N. Okay. Nelly Furtado.
Ooh.
O.J. Simpson.
Oh, fuck.
Orenthal James.
Nicholas Holt. Has he been seen
Nice.
Tilda Swinton.
Natasha Bedingfield.
Daniel Bedingfield.
Nice.
Delta Goodrum.
Martin Scorsese.
Don't mean to bring Delta into this. Sorry, guys.
Emma Thompson.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Get
I'm
it with
sorry.
the-
Get up with all the ends.
I couldn't say that. I was going to say 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, no, I'm not allowed to say that word.
Nina Conti.
Who's that?
She's a ventriloquist.
Is that E?
I.
All right. Isabel Lucas.
Sammy Davis.
Just Davis? Not Davis Jr.?
Yeah, Davis Jr. Sammy
Oh,
Davis Jr.
Davis
Oh, okay.
famous.
Okay, I was just clarifying. So am I doing Sammy Davis or Sammy Davis Jr.?
And just do Junior, do R.
Okay. Ronald Reagan.
Nick Sampson.
Oh, back on N.
Natalie, what's another Natalie name?
Emmanuel.
Natalie
Imbruglia.
Emmanuel. There we go.
What does that end with? E?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Emily Mortimer.
Richard Martin, director of Earbud, Golden Receiver.
Should we end it there?
Nick Jonas.
Oh, of
Nick
course,
Jonas.
Nick Jonas. Yeah. Trying to think of famous Nicks, and I don't think of the sexiest one.
Stuart Townsend.
Delta Good. Oh, that's already been said.
All
That's
right,
no.
thank you for listening, everybody. Hey, let us know what you thought of this. I think that this is a fun game to play with people over lockdown. And fun series of games to play with people over lockdown. And let us know how you get on. Maybe we could play a couple of these games in the Discord, which you can of course find.
play
in the show
the Don't
notes
Get Me
from-
Started, but it's who can send the longest unbroken message. So it's just-
maybe we can hop in the voice chat on the Discord.
Well, yeah, we can do
and
something. It's not like we're fucking going
play something
anywhere. Is
about
it?
yeah. Well, not like we have anything else to do. We're in lockdown, baby.
Wow.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening, everybody, and let us know what you think. And if you want to support the show, you can do that over at patreon.com/Popture, and we're also on all the social medias like the soon to completely fade out of relevancy Facebook.
OnlyFans.
We're on Twitter. We're not on OnlyFans.
I think
Not
OnlyFans
anymore.
is going to fade out of relevancy much quicker than Facebook. In fact, I can set a date that I think OnlyFans will fade out of relevancy.
Are they
It's
actually
October.
going to
we're
do
also-
that? Are they going to go
I'm
through with
tw-
it? Holy shit. That is the dumbest business move I've ever heard of.
That's a dumber business move than this podcast. This episode of the
I-
podcast specifically.
And stay tuned for the post-credit scene after this music stops. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week for the Rocky franchise Fortnite. See ya.
Bye.
Righty. Okay, welcome to the post-credit scene. This is a segment at the end of each show where if you donate $5 or more over at patreon.com/Popture, you get to give us something to talk about in this, the post-credit scene. Richard, what is it and who's it from?
This is from Michael Prefontaine, who says, alternatively, I'm guessing this, Michael said in an earlier question, if you had to choose between time traveling 100 years into the past or 1,000 years into the future, which would you pick? I think the whole thing is, if I had to stay in one, I would probably pick 100 years. If it's visiting, I would pick 1,000 years into the future.
Can you read it again?
If you had to choose between time traveling 100 years into the past or 1,000 years into the future, which would you pick? If it's a holiday, I'm going into the future. If it's to live the rest of my life, I'd probably go into the past.
I'm going to the future no matter what, either way. There's too many diseases I'm not immunized for in the past. If I go to the future and there's diseases, they can just immunize me when I get there. Although, will there be a world in 1,000
Well,
years?
that's the thing. Yeah, you don't know. Whereas
the world
I
just gonna
can,
be
I
worse?
know I could do research about what happened 100 years ago, and as a white man, I feel like I'm probably going to fit right in 100 years ago.
If you went back 100 years ago, you'd be conscripted into World War I, dude.
I'd be too old and out of shape.
Would you really?
Mm.
Ah. That's what I often find solace in. Is like,
And
I
also,
have
World War
glasses.
One was finished 100 years ago.
It was too. Yeah. But okay, well, you've got to deal with the fucking economic fallout, idiot.
You fucking idiot. Yeah, but imagine like if I can take back what my current financial state without having to adjust for inflation. I just go back with the money I have in my bank account. I'll be set. Buy a house for $30 and then just sit on it for 100 years.